Something you sing on your 25th wedding anniversary. Just dust it off and try again.
Gonna slap, I tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Aaliyah here on 1FM 91.3. It's coming close to 9:15, and joining us here in the studio on the morning drive, John Lui from the Straits Times. Welcome back.
Great to be back.
It's been
Thanks
a
for having
while,
me.
John. It's been a while. Nice to have you back.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk franchises, and in particular the Mission Impossible. Now, the latest one has just dropped.
Yeah, the final reckoning.
Yeah.
But
That's
is it
right.
really the final
Yeah,
reckoning?
you know, it's Tom Cruise.
They say this is the 8th installment and the
Yes.
final one that he's gonna do, right?
I mean, is Tom going to settle for 8 when Vin Diesel did what, 10?
Oh,
Nine,
yeah.
10?
Yeah, Fast and
10?
Furious.
59 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think?
Well, you're right. He could be like Harrison Ford, right?
Yeah,
We
exactly.
thought he was done with Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And then they dust him off and trot him
Try
out
again.
Yeah. Yeah. He could do a
It's-
Harrison Ford.
It's when
maybe
your
in
bank
20
balance, you know.
Yeah.
But you
It's
don't
just
you don't think that there's any way that this current
Well,
franchise
there is a logistical problem, shall we say. The films have gained a reputation for Tom Cruise doing his own stunts.
Yeah.
He's 62, man.
And yeah, prove that regardless of your age, you can still be fit and strong.
True. And I'm telling you, by the time he reaches 68, he'll be crap.
FD just celebrated his 69th birthday
69th
2 days
yeah,
ago.
I did.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so what's your take? I mean, I saw your review on Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. Love it or hate it? What's your take on it?
It's self-indulgent, very nostalgic. It felt like one of those award shows where, except that it was Tom giving himself and his
Yeah,
friends
well, right.
the awards.
Yeah.
It's, own self clap for own self
Oh,
kind of a
Yeah,
deal.
yeah.
But in between, there were some spectacular action sequences, so that saved it.
Was it smart to break this up into 2 movies in the first place?
It made financial sense.
Yeah.
But but you see, he could break it up into 3, 4, 5 movies
It
because
doesn't-
If he wanted to,
the
yeah.
way the storytelling goes in this series, right?
Yeah.
You walk out of the cinema and 2 hours later, you have no recollection of what they were going after.
Yeah.
What the story was about.
Yeah, you just remember all that action, the explosions,
Right,
right?
yeah.
The jumping out of a plane, leaping off buildings, and
hanging
all that.
on wires
Yeah.
in the vault. You don't remember anything else.
Why do we say this about movies like Mission Impossible, but we don't say this about James Bond? 20 over movies.
Well, you are thinking of the recent Daniel Craig, James Bond.
No,
I think
I'm even going back to the Sean Connerys and all that. Was it because they changed leads so that we didn't get tired?
that's true. It could be. Yeah, it could be. It went from somewhat serious to somewhat comedic.
Yeah.
With Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
and then dead serious
Dead
again
serious.
with Daniel Craig. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
maybe that
Yeah.
that could be what it
could be.
was.
It refreshes itself every few years.
Every few years.
Why do you think audiences keep coming back for more? You know, with regards to Mission Impossible or these movie franchises, what is it that it's entertainment?
Well, why do we go watch any franchise movie, whether it's John Wick or Fast and Furious? It's because we want to see familiar faces. We want to see old friends and to see them do their old tricks. It's very nostalgic
Familiar.
and comforting, familiar. It's like going to McDonald's, right? You don't want to be surprised with
That's true. That's true. Comfort.
yeah.
Right. It's
So there you-
And the box office figures prove it.
So basically what we're saying is Tom Cruise is no different from a Big Mac.
All right. We're going to continue this conversation on Facebook. So join us there.
1FM.
Interesting that you brought up John Wick. I watched John Wick, and I've watched all the John Wicks. I watched
Yeah.
them religiously. I watched them over and over and over again.
You and every other male specimen on the living planet.
Because we all want to be John Wick. We want to have the hell beaten out of us, and we still get up and walk away.
Speak for yourself, man.
Yeah, this guy never dies.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and also it's Keanu Reeves. You know, how can you get
Okay,
sick
that's
of
the
Keanu?
that's the female.
He's-
That's the female part.
The emphasis is on coolness.
Yes,
He wants to be the unbeatable guy, but he also has
Wants
to be
to be
damn
very cool.
With
Yeah.
Very cool.
minimal lines delivered, right?
That's right. You
Very
don't want to
little
be
talking.
But you see, with all this said and done, right?
and no messy female character to
yeah.
and no family to
Yeah.
pull him back.
Yeah.
So you got to think
Yeah.
of the kids,
Yeah.
John.
Yeah.
No dog either. The poor beagle. Aiyo.
That's right. It's in a sense, it's very traditional. The
Yes.
story.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
But with all that said and done, Marvel decided that there was a point where they were going to stop and change things.
Yeah, that's true. Each phase has its own
Storyline.
arc. Yeah.
Do you think Mission Impossible can take a different arc?
Yeah, it's tough. You know why? Because Mission Impossible, unlike other franchises,
Yeah.
you think Mad Max, you
Yeah,
think
yeah.
Something like the Star Wars,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
It's been identified with one character and one leading man, and it has a tone.
Yeah.
And it's hard to. That's the brand.
Yeah.
If you change it around, it's almost like creating something new. And I don't know whether they'll have to relaunch it. They'll have to reboot it with maybe a younger guy taking over. Yeah.
But would it be
or
the
a female.
same though? Because
Or a
like
female.
Tom Cruise is so synonymous with Mission Impossible, right?
Yeah.
I can't see anyone in that role.
I could see Jennifer
Exactly.
Lawrence taking over the role.
What? As Ethan Hunt? Etana.
No, as a team headed by a woman this time.
Yeah.
That'll be risky. I think they've tried, remember the Ocean's 8 reboot with the all-female,
right.
the Ghostbusters
Yeah,
relaunch
yeah,
with
that
the
did
Actually,
work.
I
all-female.
quite like that.
Well,
Yeah,
Ghostbusters.
well, I liked it too.
You know, girl
Ghostbusters.
power.
Girl power. Well,
Come on.
they tanked at the box office.
yeah,
Every time they
I
tried
agree
to-
with that one.
Oh, come
that was
on.
a tank movie.
We
That was
need
awful.
more
But you have
heroines.
nothing against women. It
No,
was
no.
a storytelling.
It was just there are some movies I believe shouldn't be redone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They shouldn't be revisited. And Ghostbusters was just one of those movies.
Yeah.
But I think the Mission Impossible line could go a female dominant way, just like I believe 007, not James Bond, 007 can go a female way.
I'll just give you one example. Did you ever watch the movie Atomic Blonde?
Yes,
Was it good?
I kind of enjoyed it.
I thought it was great.
I
it
kind of
had,
enjoyed it.
Who's
what's
in the
it?
lead?
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron.
Theron,
Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah. She was in the lead. She was a female John Wick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it worked.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it could.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you this. Okay, what's your favorite movie franchise that you'll go back to over and over again? You know, you'll never get tired of watching
I'm
it.
going to be so boring here and say something like Lord of the Rings. It's my comfort watch.
Really?
Yeah.
I've got to say, my comfort watch is Harry Potter.
Me too.
Oh, really?
Harry Potter.
I go with Harry Potter then.
Okay.
Lord of the Rings is very heavy.
Intense.
Yeah.
You know, I understand you'd be in the right age group for when the books
yes.
and the first, but
But
you,
FD,
you're a bit.
Okay, I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
I've lived my life with the belief that there's always a part of you that's a child.
Right.
And I've always seen myself. I've always wanted to be Harry Potter.
Oh, we are learning
wa-
so much
I
about
want,
you now.
Yeah.
I want to be that person and experience Hogwarts, and I want to live those adventures. I'm that kind of person. When I watch a movie, I want to live that adventure. That's why the movie's got to be a certain type of movie for me.
you mean you don't want to be Orlando Bloom? You know,
No, no,
in Lord of the
Don't-
Rings.
no. But I want to be Harry Potter and live those.
It's
Okay.
true. It's true. The world building, the universe that
Yes.
J.K. Rowling built was very full and very
Yes.
rich.
Yeah.
I agree
Yeah,
with
yeah,
you there.
yeah.
For me, it's because I read the books.
Right,
So
right.
that added to the experience when
Right,
you
right,
watch the
right,
movie.
right.
Lord of the Rings, I'm not sure. But first and foremost, it's like what, 3.5 hours long, right? And then it's just so complicated. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I understand the Lord of the Rings fan base is hardcore as well.
It is very, very, very hardcore.
Very hard.
Okay, let's talk about the actors. Like Daniel Radcliffe. Other than Harry Potter, he hasn't really been able to do much outside of
Oh.
that role, right?
Yeah.
You think that's a curse for some of these franchise, actors?
It can be a curse, yeah, because you then get so closely, or with child actors that you see on sitcoms, and then they sort of go downhill, right?
But Potter has done. But Radcliffe has done some great stuff after Potter when he grew up.
Precisely.
I think
yeah.
he's doing more on stage, on theatre.
But he needs to really discover the evil side of Daniel Radcliffe because there is a very good evil side to Daniel Radcliffe.
Or that he has to distinguish himself from that other actor from the Lord of the Rings. Who is the Frodo? Who's the actor who plays Frodo? They look so alike, right?
Yeah, you
Now,
got-
no one
Okay,
can
who
remember his
plays
name.
Frodo?
Let me find. Okay.
Okay, who plays Frodo? I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan.
Elijah Wood.
Elijah Wood,
Right? Yeah, there's some similarities there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so when it comes to these blockbuster franchises, right? How do studios strike the balance between giving fans what they want? Is it just adding more action, but at the same time keeping the story fresh?
Yeah, that's a
or
good question.
meaningful?
It's got to strike a balance, right, between callbacks and pleasing the what they call fan service,
Yeah.
and saying something new and attracting new people into the club. So some people do it well, and some people are just something like Star Wars. I think they've done a good job trying to please the fan base, keeping to canon, right?
Yeah.
Keeping most of the story parts in fact,
Yeah.
and building out a universe that feels rich and full.
That's
They've
all
done a good
George
job.
Lucas lah. He had
No.
the
George
foresight.
Lucas wasn't involved past
Okay.
the prequel trilogy.
Oh, so it's
Yeah.
just the 4, 5, 6, right? Right.
Yeah. The things like Rogue One, he wasn't involved. He just
Yeah.
built out the world,
Yeah.
and he just let others take over.
Take over.
And they've done a pretty
Which
good
is
job. I
clever
think.
because he brings in different types of creativity and keeps his universe
Different
alive.
perspectives.
Different
Yeah,
perspectives.
anything can happen in that universe.
Yeah.
As long as you see the odd lightsaber, you see those weird guy who makes strange sounds and has tentacles coming out. His face.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm here for it. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Before you came in, we were talking about Cruise and how after Mission Impossible, there really isn't much that he can do. I mean, maybe another Maverick movie, but that's about it. The same applies to John Wick. We'll come back and talk about that. Now.
Yeah, when we
Okay.
go on air in just a bit. Send Me an Angel, that one from Real Life here on 1FM 91.3. Welcome into the morning drive on a Wednesday, and today joining us here in the studio in person is John Lui from the Straits Times. We're talking about movie franchises, right?
And the actors behind them. Tom
Yeah.
Cruise has said, okay, well, we all think Mission Impossible is done and dusted. Where does he go after this? Maybe one more Maverick movie, and then I think it's over for him.
No.
I don't think there's
The
anything
man
else
has
he's going
more
to do.
give.
I don't think so.
He's actually got range. You remember Tropic Thunder?
Yes.
He put on the fat suit and
Yes,
was
I
less
love
I'm
that
sorry,
movie.
I could
The
not-
dance at the end.
I couldn't watch Tropic.
It was hilarious.
I couldn't
It was
watch
great.
it.
It was
I
great.
absolutely couldn't. The other person I think who's going to die after the franchise is Keanu Reeves.
No.
Keanu Reeves has become John Wick. John Wick has become Keanu Reeves. I think every time a producer or a director looks at Keanu Reeves now, all he's going to see is John Wick.
No.
Because he has played that character so well, the character has become him.
Yeah, but what about Matrix? Everyone was
Okay,
like,
they tried to revisit Matrix.
Yeah.
And what happened? It was same old, same old. There was
I don't
nothing
think they really
impressive.
did try very hard with Matrix, right?
the thing you got to give it to Keanu Reeves is that he tries different genres. He was in samurai films, 47
That was
Ronin.
good. Those two
Yeah.
were good. Yeah.
Yeah, and he could have stuck with being the action movie star after, I think, Speed and Matrix. He
Yeah.
could have stuck with that.
Yeah.
But he broke out. He tried different things. Not all of it worked
Yeah.
until John Wick came
Yeah.
around. So I think he's got more in the bag.
Do you think so?
Yeah, he's got more in the bag.
I hope
And,
so.
he's like Minister Emeritus right now.
Yeah.
They are going to build out an entire John Wick universe
Wow.
on TV and in movies. There's going to be a John Wick 5, believe it or
Yeah,
not.
yeah, I know. I've
yeah,
heard.
and there's
I've
a spin-off as
And I
well,
can't
right?
wait.
There's a spin-off
Yeah.
Ballerina, which
Yep.
I saw,
Yeah.
which I can't say because it's under embargo.
It's
no.
Ana Diamas.
I'll tell you about it when the mics are off.
Okay.
Wow,
Ana
okay.
Diamas, correct. And there's a whole universe. So he's going to pop in every now and then, like the granddad,
Like the granddad.
and
Okay.
visit the kids,
Yeah.
pat
Okay.
them on the head.
I gotta say, I am waiting for John Wick.
Everyone's waiting for John Wick. So, in your opinion, right? We talked about this earlier on. You're a fan of Lord of the Rings, the movie franchise. Me and FD would go back to Harry Potter again and
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
So, what's an example of a well-done franchise and a not-so-good one, in your opinion?
Well, just off the top of my head, I can think of a recent one, and that is Mad Max. I mean, Fury Road and the next one, Furiosa.
Yeah,
Furiosa.
Which didn't do very well at box office, but I thought was fantastic.
I loved Fury Road.
Yeah, Fury.
So-
Which one? Fury
First one.
Road.
Fury
the first
Road.
one.
Yeah.
Fury Road.
So
yeah.
edgy. Wow.
And I think the latter ones have not lived up to that. To the
Furiosa
earlier
was
ones.
okay. Yeah.
They're good.
Okay.
They're really good movies.
Again,
but
with your female lead, right?
yeah,
See
but-
what happens.
Yeah, see that.
Okay. So, finally, would you be surprised if Ethan Hunt, came back and saved the world again?
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Like, he
Yeah.
could do a Harrison Ford and suddenly,
yeah.
pow.
Oh.
So, once again, if you're keen to find out more about Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, there's a review
Yes.
by John on the Straits Times called "Cruise's Spectacular Farewell," or is it?
That's the question.
All right, thank you so much, John, for joining
you.
us here today once again on 1FM 91.3.
The Flying Dutchman in Carrie